Working on a percentile ranking problem, it's important to remember that percentile ranking refers to the percentage of the population that falls below the given score. In this case, the population represents those people who took the exam. The score that we're interested in is the 81. Our percentile ranking are those people, percentage of those people who scored below an 81. Quite a lot of people scored below an 81. So we know that our percentile ranking is going to be much bigger than, say, for example, half of the people. It's going to be much bigger than 50 percentile. This person did quite well. In terms of calculating percentile score, there's 4 steps we're going to go through. We're going to draw a picture. That'll help give us a fairly decent idea of what the percentile ranking should be. Then we'll calculate a z-score. Z-score will let us know the number of standard deviations between the mean and the particular value. We'll refer to the z-table to find out the proportion of the population between the mean and that particular z-score. Finally, we'll update the picture and solve the problem. Our question reads, in a normal distribution, where the mean is 70 and the standard deviation is 12, what's the percentile ranking for a person who scored an 81? When we draw, we're going to go ahead and record the value, which is 81. We'll also record the mean, which is 70. And we'll draw a line at both of these. A line for 81, a line for 70. Because this is percentile ranking, the area that we're interested in is everybody who scored below the 81. We're interested in finding out what is the area that's represented by this shaded region. The area below the mean is half of the population. That is, half the people scored below the mean and half people scored above. So that's pretty straightforward. It's going to be 0.500. The other area that we need to figure out, though, those people who scored between the mean and the value of 81. Once we figure that area, we can combine the 0.50 plus the people who scored between the 70 and 81 to determine the proportion of people who scored below an 81. Our next step is to calculate the z-score for the 81. The formula for the z-score is value minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. For this particular problem, what value is going to go here in the top left box? It's going to be 81. Now what's going to go over here in our top right box? That's going to be the mean, which is 70. And what's going to go in the bottom box? That will be the standard deviation, which is 12. We'll go ahead and calculate that out. That'll be an 11 over 12, or 0.92. So a value of 81 is almost, but not quite, an entire standard deviation above the mean. It's 0.92 standard deviations above the mean. The z-table is going to let us know the proportion of people who scored between the mean and z. Remember, we already know that half our population is below the mean, so we just need to find out this area between the mean and z. This table can be found in the back of your workbook. Keep in mind that there are 2 z-tables. One z-table is for the area between the mean and z, and there's a separate z-table for the area beyond z. When using the z-table, we're looking up 0.92. The leftmost column lets you know the z-scores. Notice that it only goes to a tenth place, 0.9. We want to know the z-score for 0.92. Along the top row is the hundredths place, the 0.02. So we'll go ahead, and here's our 0.9, and we'll move along to the right. And from up here, our 0.02, and we'll move along down. And they meet at 0.321. The 0.321 tells us that the proportion of scores that are between a mean and a z of 0.91, this area here represents 0.321. Our last step is to solve the problem. So we know that the area between the mean and z, this area, is 0.321. We also know that half the population is below the mean. And that is equal to 0.500. So if we want to find out the percentile ranking, if someone has an 81, we can go ahead and say 0.500 plus 0.321 comes out to be 0.821. So 0.821 of the population is below an 81. We need to know the percentile ranking, which is a percentage. What we have right here is a proportion, which ranges between 0 and 1. To turn that into a percentile, we're going to need to multiply it by 100. That's going to be 82.1. And that is the person's percentile ranking. It is 82.1.